over 100 109F fighters were available for operations over Malta.
Die Abschussliste wird vervollständigt. Die gute Pflege der Maschinen ist mitentscheidend für den Sieg. Der Jagdflieger muss sich auf seine Kameraden vom Bodenpersonal fest verlassen können. Loki muss verschwinden.
As Commander-in-Chief South, all Luftwaffe units in Sicily fell under the command of Field Marshal Albert Kesselring. Known to his troops as Smiling Albert because of his ready grin, he's seen here paying an inspection visit to one of the units of JG-53. The winter rains on the island have turned much of the ground into glutinous mud, as Kesselring nearly discovers to his cost. The rains also led to the landing fields being reduced into muddy tracks. The Field Marshal also takes the opportunity to take a closer look at an ME-109F. Throughout February 1942, the Luftwaffe launched daily bombing raids against Malta, directed at the naval facilities and defences, followed in March and April by the systematic targeting of airfields and the total destruction of the RAF fighter presence on the island. By the end of April, almost 6,000 bombing sorties had been flown by Ju-88s, HE-111s and Do-17s of the 2nd Flieger Corps. This sustained bombing was seen as the prelude to invasion of the island. In company with the bombers, the number of day fighter sorties also increased, with an average of 1,000 flown each week following March the 20th. Although 15 Spitfires have been flown into Malta during the same month and subsequently encountered in combat over the island by the ME-109s, the Jagdflieger still increased their score over the RAF fighters. By the end of March, the tempo of offensive operations had resulted in the day fighters finally securing air superiority over the island.
Das ist Malta. Im Tiefflug geht es an der Steilküste entlang.
Gun camera film from 109Fs operating over the island records the destruction of a number of Hawker Hurricane fighters. This was the primary RAF fighter defending the island until the arrival of the Spitfire. Its performance was significantly less than that of the 109F and usually ended up coming off worst in air-to-air combat. In 1942, the Hurricane was increasingly being replaced by the Spitfire and the Desert Air Force's fighter role, being employed far more as a ground attack type and fighter bomber. With the failure to implement Operation Hercules and the British reinforcement of the defences of Malta, air superiority over the island was lost by the Luftwaffe during mid-1942. For the Luftwaffe and RAF, the most significant event in the ongoing air war over the Channel and northern France in the second half of 1941 and into 1942 was the entry into service of a formidable new fighter plane in the ranks of the Jager band. FW-190 was first seen by German audiences in a sequence that begins with pilots and ground crew of the Geschwader relaxing before the onset of battle. The alarm is sounded as an incoming RAF raid is reported. Ground crew and flak gunners race to their charges and man their stations. Airfield defences were based around numerous light 20mm flak guns, medium 37mm flak weapons seen here, and batteries of the heavier caliber 88mm guns. These would provide the first line of defence against the incoming hostiles. As the tannoy sounds the battle alarm, all is abandoned as pilots and their supporting ground crews rush to the planes. first of the short-nosed early series of FW-190s entered service with JG-26 in July 1941 and served alongside the former Bf-109Fs of the Geschwader. Although having its origin in a 1937 specification for an Me-109 replacement, the success of the latter led to the FW-190 being regarded as a second iron for the Jager band. Built around a BMW 801 radial engine, the FW-190 first flew in 1939, but continuing engine problems delayed service entry for nearly 2 years. Once in action, however, the 190 revealed a marked superiority over the Spitfire in almost all aspects of air combat, except for the latter's smaller turning circle. The 190 reigned supreme until the second half of 1942, when the RAF rushed the improved Spitfire Mark 9 into service.
Der erste Treffer. Der Brite stürzt brennend ab. Kondensstreifen zeigen den Weg der Flugzeuge und den Verlauf des Kampfes. Vor uns wieder ein Brite. Auch er stürzt ab.
The remains of the shot-down RAF fighter is examined by the captured airmen and the Germans. Returning Me-109s and FW-190s fly over the airfield, a number waggling their wings to indicate victories in the air battle. Post-battle analysis, Joachim Münchenberg talks tactics with fellow flyers, while ground crew further victory bars to the rudder of Ace's 190. Also seen is the irrepressible Pips Priller, who is to become Commodore of JG-26 and remain its commander through to war's end. Priller was an inspiring leader and a superb pilot, amassing a tally of 101 victories, all achieved in the West. He is perhaps best remembered as one of 2 Luftwaffe pilots to strafe the Normandy beaches on D-Day and live to tell the tale, an event recaptured in the film The Longest Day. The alarm sounds once again as a further raid, this time by RAF light bombers, is reported inbound. The pilots rush to their planes and there is a further scramble as 109s and 190s roar off to attack the enemy aircraft. The Luftwaffe fighters hone in on the defending fighters as the gun cameras catch more shots of RAF fighters being shot at and brought down. Although the gun camera images are somewhat indistinct, there is a possibility that the RAF type being shot down here is an early Hawker Typhoon. Although only crashed RAF aircraft are shown here being sent for scrap in Germany, 1942 also witnessed the appearance of the first fighters and bombers over France wearing the US stars and bars. They were the harbingers of the storm soon to break in the skies over the Reich in 1943, and engaged the Luftwaffe's day fighters in the greatest air battles of the war.